Give you the name of one of the billionaires who's running $2 million of ads in my district since I started this effort. His name is John Paulson. He's a hedge fund manager and a major donor to the Republican Party, a major donor to the Speaker of the House, a major donor to the president's campaign, and he's in Epstein's black book. Now, that's public, but that's indicative of the types of people who may be implicated or just embarrassed by a complete release of these files.
This might sound somewhat insignificant. We've already heard some of those names, but the actual diving into who John Paulson really is, very interesting. Very interesting. I have some information on this guy. Some of the ties that relate to his involvement with Democrats and Republicans. How he made his millions of dollars is almost mirror image of, because you got to remember, Epstein was a financier or some kind of advisor or investor. And man, when I read you some of the stuff here, it's just going to blow off your socks off. So let's dig into this, guys. Enjoy, and thank you for watching. Okay, so I'm going to just read to you some of the public records of what is up about this dude here. So Paulson began his career as a Boston consultant company group in 1980, where he did research providing advice to companies ambitious to work in his investment on Wall Street. He left to join Odyssey Partners, where he worked with Leon Levy. He moved on to Bear Stearns, working in mergers and acquisitions department, and then to Gruss Partners LP, where he was a general partner. In 1994, he funded his own hedge fund, Paulson and Company, with only $2 million, which is not a lot of money. It sounds like a lot, but it's not in this terms of this. And one employee, relatively small company. Located in the office space rented from Bear Stearns in the 26th floor of 277 Park Avenue, the firm moved to the 57th in Madison in 01. By 03, his fund had grown to over $300 million in assets. That's amazing growth in just a short period of time. You've got to admit, what a really smart guy. That's a lot of money. Imagine all of the Ferraris and pontoon boats you could buy with that. Not to mention small children. Anyways, Paulson and his company specialize in event-driven investments, i.e. mergers, acquisitions, spin-offs, proxy contests, etc. And he has made like hundreds of such investments throughout his career. Many of the events involved merger arbitrage, which has been described as waiting until one company announces that it's buying another, rushing to purchase the target company's shares, sharing the acquisitioner stock unless it's a cash deal, and then earn the differential between the two share prices when the merger closes. An example of a proxy investment event Paulson made was during the Yahoo's proxy content in 08 when Carl, I guess I'm saying his name right, Icahn launched a proxy fight to try to replace Yahoo's board. Now, y'all remember when that happened. So I'm going to bring up Obama's name. And basically what this man has done is managed to build an empire similar to how Soros built his empire, which is betting against, well, Soros betted against failing economies and currency. This guy here just bet against companies. And by the way, you can actually create a failure of a company if you bet against it and you have a large enough pull in Wall Street to kind of give people the urge that there's a possibility the stock might fail, and they sell all their stock plummets, the company plummets. This is a trickery that Wall Street's played many times. Now, how do they know this? Now, definitely has nothing to do with insider trader information at all, right? They'd never be able to, and I'm being facetious when I say that. These people have insider trading knowledge. They know exactly when and where to sell because they've got people on the inside that will produce a monumental bet against a certain company, especially if you don't fall in line. Now, you gotta admit, too, the dude has serious ties to Epstein stuff. He donated a bunch of money to Republicans and Democrats. He also donated a bunch of money to the Trump Foundation, too, which means that there's an association there that might be not only just Israel-driven why Trump wants Epstein stuff to come out, but it could be because of the fact that he realizes a lot of his business partners, donators, and all this stuff are tied to Epstein in very many ways, which could make Trump look bad. And he's like, oh, my gosh, please. So, anyways, in 2010, he set another hedge fund record by making $5 billion in a single year, primarily investing in the gold sector. However, in 2011, he made losing investments in Bank of America, Citigroup, and fraud suspected China-based Canadian listed companies, Sino Forest Corporation, his flagship fund. Paulson Advantage Fund fell sharply on 11. Paulson also became a major investor in gold. And believe it or not, sometimes you just do that to make it look good. You can't win all the time. If you win all the time, then it starts to send red flags. So you strategically fail and not losing any money because you sell off stuff and you may look like you lost money, but technically you made it somewhere else investing in gold. He knew that the price of gold was going to go up. So he decided to let some markets tank, make it look good on paper, and then invest in goldy stuff and then look really good on paper. This guy is a financial genius because he has not been looked into by the FTC. By the way, FTC is completely corrupt anyhow, so there's a reason why Trump wanted to fire that chick that the Obama judges want to keep in. Now, the reason why I'm bringing Obama's name up, and I'll talk about that real quick. And as we dive into the Obama thing, just remember that guy made billions of dollars for basically nothing. I mean, yes, he made strategic investments, but this you don't get that fortunate that quick unless you've got some form of insider trading. But do you remember back in the day when people used to make money because they did stuff like at least Tesla, poor guy didn't. He got duped in the butt because he made stuff, but then the people grifted off of him. Westinghouse, technically, you could say, oh, Westinghouse did really well. They were inventors, but without Tesla, where would Westinghouse be right now? Because that was one of the people that were like, man, we're going to make DC current the wave of the future. And there's no real way to transmit DC current long distance without voltage drop, and transformers don't work under direct current situations. I don't want to skew you with too much nerdology, but alternating current definitely was the wave of the future in production and the ability for our country to grow and worldwide, because Tesla had a better idea. But then because of that, instead of those people doing the hard work and then trying to figure out what the difference was, they just said, you know what, Tesla, screw you, and took all his money. Basically, people that worked really hard, that wanted to buy houses, they actually got caught up in a fraudulent scheme because Obama gamed the market in housing and allowed people to get loans that never should have gotten loans, which then caused banks to fail, which then caused all these default buyouts by larger corporations. Same thing when it came to your grassroots. Like, you don't have any grassroots realty companies anymore. They're few and far between, and they're under attack every day. Whenever the housing market crashed, banks had to be bought out. Then you got bigger banks that now are under the control of, like BlackRock, Vanguard. And to bank with those people, you better not be a conservative. And I'm getting a little off subject of Thomas Massie, but the thing is like, it makes you wonder just how strategic was Obama's failure in the housing market. Did he not know that this would happen? Did he not have financiers that would say, you know what, if you do this, you're going to cause a big issue? And then they figured out by the snapback of what the outcome was going to be. It was almost like it was strategic for this to happen. But back to Thomas Massie, these are some of the people who are trying to get him out. And there's a lot of people who don't like Thomas Massie. There's some things that he does that people don't like, but he understands that our country is failing so far as spending all this money. And he doesn't want to be beholden to an Israel government that's corrupt. Not the Jewish people are great. Israel government corrupt. The Muslim people, nasty. Just, we don't need that either. So I'm not advocating for that, but I am trying to explain that there is a large machine behind the reason why we haven't gotten all the Epstein stuff, and probably never will. And I don't think Trump's involved with children. I think that Trump's involved some kind of way that makes him look bad with people that he has surrounded himself with investing wise, and he might have borrowed some money from Epstein. Who knows? I don't know. But there's something going on, and it could be the Israel government that's tied to all this Mossad intelligence that allegedly Epstein was involved in. And there's that whole thing to where Israel was running Trump a little bit. But we're still getting stuff done. It's better than nothing. Imagine if Kamala Harris was running things. Yeah, a lot of those people would still be in jail. There'd be more people in jail when it come to January 6th. I mean, there'd be, just like all the stuff that happened in L.A. Technically they say wouldn't have happened, but crises call for different times, all those riots and everything. But they would have figured out some way to burn L.A. down. They just used Trump's, going after illegals. These lefties are really smart, but they're really stupid too. So there's a lot of layers to that. But don't like AIPAC lobbying our Congress people. I don't like the fact that our Congress people allows AIPAC to lobby. But then you got to remember the layers behind mainstream media, which still has some sort of their tentacles on the public. Especially if the news can't do it, television shows will. They'll get people like Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert and stuff like that, and Saturday Night Live to lobby for their advocacy of getting rid of certain people. So there's a lot of layers. The news is irrelevant, but still television shows are. They'll get illegally out there to get everybody to hate somebody. Oh, better yet, how about this? The conservative content creators out there right now as we speak, the people that you've been listening to since they did whatever they did in 2020, which was manipulate an election, have now realized that the revenue's not there defending the country. The revenue's there because they've got a good following, and they take money. They take money from PACs to promote an agenda now. And you can actually do a quick search on that, and you'll find out that there are YouTubers out there right now, some of the people with really large followings doing really well on YouTube, that are speaking out against people like Thomas Massie and stuff like that, and speaking out against the fact that we want to find out what's going on with Epstein, because they're taking money from Republican PACs to promote an agenda which is just teeing up the ball for Democrats for the humanity's downfall. And those people are somebody that, I don't want to name names, but I know them. It's not good. It's not good. So little guys like me don't. We're still giving you everything that we got as far as like truth and trying our best to steer public in a direction. Yeah, the ship is sinking, but there's safety if you just listen. I'll show you the way. I'll do my best. Thank you for watching, guys. Thank you.